Now we are going to study the next element, that is atmospheric pressure. So how this atmospheric pressure affects the weather and climate. The force exerted by the vertical column of the air per unit of area is called the atmospheric pressure. So atmosphere which surrounding the earth is held up because of the gravity of the earth. So therefore the air has weight and it exerts a force on the earth's surface. So although the air has a very little weight, yet due to its great height of several hundred kilometers, the column of the air above the surface exerts considerable pressure. So it puts, because of the height of the atmosphere, you can see that it puts the force and pressure over the earth's surface. So we will study now the factors affecting the atmospheric pressure. The first is the altitude and the second one is the temperature. So what is altitude? The pressure exerted by the atmosphere decreases with the height or altitude. As we go higher, you can see that the pressure exerted starts decreasing. So the decrease in the pressure is about how much? 1 centimeter of mercury for every 110 meter of ascent. So as we go 110 meter, there is a decrease in the pressure about 1 centimeter of mercury. So the atmospheric pressure is highest at the sea level. So we will find that the atmospheric pressure will be more at the sea level. This is because at the great heights, the air is thinner. So as we go higher altitude, we find that the air is thinner. So or less dense than the air at the sea level. So it will be thinner and less denser comparatively to the sea level. Second factor of the atmospheric pressure is the temperature. Atmospheric pressure decreases with the increase in the temperature. So this is because when the temperature rises, air starts expanding. So what happens? The molecules of the air start moving apart, far apart, becomes less dense and hence exert less pressure. So what happens? The molecules which are present in the air starts moving away from each other. So because of this, the air becomes less dense and as a result, the pressure is exerted less. World's pressure belts. There are some permanent world's pressure belts. The unequal heating of the earth and its atmosphere and the rotation of the earth are the two main factors. So as we know that earth gets unequal heat from the sun. So because of this, the unequal heating of the earth and the atmosphere together and the rotation of the earth are the two main factors which are responsible for the formation of these pressure belts of the world. So the region which has high temperature will have low pressure belts, whereas the region with low temperature will have high pressure belts. So there are following permanent pressure belts. The first, equatorial low pressure belt, which is also known as doldrums. The second, subtropical high pressure belt. Third, subpolar high pressure belt. Fourth, polar high pressure belt. The next element is humidity. What is humidity? The amount of water vapor present in the air is called humidity. So amount of moisture in the atmosphere is closely related to the temperature of the air, which is said to be unsaturated air. So humidity is measured and expressed in two ways: absolute humidity and relative humidity. So now we are going to study absolute humidity and relative humidity. Absolute humidity is the amount of water vapor in grams per cubic meter of air. So it means absolute humidity is normally expressed in grams of vapor per cubic meter of air. For example, if the absolute humidity is 20 grams per cubic meter, It means that a sample of 1 cubic meter of air, the amount of water vapor present is 20 grams. So you understood this? Okay. The second is relative humidity. Relative humidity is the ratio between the amount of water vapor present in the air and the maximum amount that can be held by the air at the given temperature. It is expressed in percentage. Suppose the air can hold a maximum of 50 grams of water vapor at a given temperature and only 25 grams of water vapor are present in it. So the relative humidity will be how much? 50%. So the relative humidity of saturated air is 100% and that of the absolute dry air is 0%. The next element is precipitation. So what is precipitation? The process through which water from atmosphere falls down on the earth is called as precipitation. So in this process there is no change of state of water. There is only change of geographical location from the atmosphere to the hydrosphere and lithosphere. So whatever the precipitation takes place, it comes directly on the ground and also the water. So precipitation occurs when tiny cloud droplets join together into larger rain droplets, which become heavier and fall to the earth's surface in the form of rainfall or precipitation. So the types of precipitation. Precipitation is classified according to its form in which it reaches the ground. So what is the form and how it reaches the ground? It depends. It is classified on that basis. So the temperature of the air both inside and outside the cloud determines whether precipitation is rain, snow, sleet or hail. Okay, some important forms of precipitation we are going to discuss here. The first, rain, which comes directly and reaches the ground in the liquid form is called rain. Second, dew. These are tiny droplets of water that form when water vapor condenses on the ground or cool surfaces. It occurs only in calm, cold and clear nights. Third, hail. Hailstones are frozen lumps of ice produced by the thunderstorms. They form inside tall cumulonimbus clouds, which are much warmer at the bottom than at the top where the temperature is freezing. Fourth, snow. This form of precipitation is common in the high altitude areas like mountainous areas. So, snow is the precipitation composed of ice crystals. So, there the form of precipitation is in the form of snowfall and nothing but the ice crystals. Another element is winds. Air moves from high pressure areas to low pressure area. So the horizontal movement of air is nothing but the wind. Wind direction and velocity are the two characteristics of wind which are important to the meteorologist. So the winds are named on the basis of the direction from which they blow. So wind blowing from the east is called as easterly wind and the wind blowing from west is called as westerly wind. So there are two types of winds, that is planetary winds and periodic winds. What are planetary winds? Winds that blow all the time in the same direction, same areas of the world are called the permanent winds or prevailing winds or planetary winds. Second, the periodic winds. Periodic winds are those which blow during a particular period of day or season of the year. Small scale winds occur as a result of localized differences in the pressure and temperature. So therefore, these periodic winds are also called as local and regional winds. Land and sea breezes and the monsoon winds are the typical examples of the periodic winds. The next element is clouds. A cloud is a large collection of very tiny droplets of water or ice crystals. So the droplets are so small and light that they can float in the air. So clouds are formed through evaporation and condensation. So on the basis of the shape and the height at which they are formed, clouds are classified into high clouds, middle clouds and low clouds. So here you can see in the picture high clouds. Because of the cold temperature at high altitude, the high clouds are made up of ice crystals. So the prefix cirro is used to describe the high clouds. Next, middle clouds. Middle clouds can be made up of both water droplets and ice crystals. So the prefix alto is used to describe the middle clouds. The third, low clouds are made up of water droplets and the prefix strato is commonly used to describe these types of clouds.